Hi everyone, welcome to CAT Coach. My name is Apurv, and in these video series we'll be covering all the past year CAT papers for QA as well as the LRDI section. On your screen is the first question from CAT-22 slot 1. It's a geometry question. Let's try to solve this. The question says, let ABCD be a parallelogram such that the coordinates of its three vertices ABC are 1, 1, 3, 4 and -2, 8 respectively. Then the coordinates of the vertex D. Alright, so in front of me I have a parallelogram whose three of the coordinates are given, and I need to find the fourth vertex of this parallelogram. So one of the coordinate is 1, 1, let's say somewhere here, 3, 4 somewhere here around, right? And -2, 8 will be somewhere here. So if I join these points, what I'm getting is something like this, right? This was my point A, that is 1, 1. This was my point B, that was 3, 4, and this was my coordinate C, that is -2, 8. Now I'm pretty sure that the fourth coordinate should be somewhere here, then only we'll get a parallelogram like this, right? So if the fourth coordinate is somewhere here, that means its x coordinate should be a negative value and its y coordinate should be a positive value, right? Why? Because x is negative here, isn't it? So from the given set of options, I can straight away rule out option number 2 and 4. They cannot be my answer, this is for sure. So suppose if I had, let's say hardly 10 seconds when I reach to this question during CAT, I have only two options to take a calculated guess, right? So that is how you take calculated guess if you want to. But certainly this is not helping me out because two options have x as negative coordinates. So let's try to do something else here. Let's figure out another way to solve this. So before we get into the solution of this, let's talk about parallelogram a little. So what are the properties of a parallelogram? Let's try to talk about this. I've written it in short, so don't judge me on my spelling, right? We know that diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other, right? They are going to always bisect each other. Let's try to use this property of parallelogram to solve our required question, right? So we have A, we have point B, we have point C, and we have a point D. This coordinate is 1, 1, this one is 3, 4, and this one is -2, 8. Now when we are joining the points, right, the diagonal, when you're drawing the diagonal, this point here is going to act as a midpoint. Let's say this point is x. So x is a midpoint for line AC as well, and it is also a midpoint for line BD as well. Now we should know that if there are 2 points, x1, y1 and x2, y2, and if I join these points, then the coordinates of the midpoint are always x1 plus x2 by 2, y1 plus y2 by 2, right? So let's use this here. So can I figure out the coordinates of point x using point A and C? The x coordinate of point x should be 1 and -2. So 1 plus -2 is same as -1 by 2, 1 plus 8, that is 9 by 2. So these are the coordinates of x, right? Now let us assume that the coordinates of point D are P, Q. So we know the coordinates of x, right? The midpoint. So what I can say here is P plus 3 by 2, that is this particular point, that is x1 plus x2 by 2 should be equal to this x coordinate, right? So I can say P plus 3 by 2 should be equal to -12. So 2 and 2 is cancelled. So from here the value of P is coming out to be -4. Similarly, Q plus 4 by 2 should be equal to 9 by 2. That is the y coordinate of point x. So 2 and 2 is gone. The value of Q will be 9 minus 4, that is 5. So we've got the coordinates of point D as -4, 5, which brings me to my answer, that is option number 1, right? Alright, now what if this doesn't strike? We should have always multiple ways to solve a question. That is how cat should be, right? So I'm erasing this. If you wanted to make a note of it, you could have just paused the video and write it, right? So always have multiple ways to, approach a question in CAT. The reason being is you never know what will come to your mind first. CAT is an exam where you should always have multiple ways to solve a question, right? So another property of a parallelogram is opposite sides of a parallelogram are parallel to each other, isn't it? Now how do I make use of this? Let's try to understand. We know that if two lines are parallel, they have the same slope. What do you mean by slope? Suppose if I have a point x1 comma y1 and another point as x2 comma y2, then how do we find the slope of a line? The slope of the line is denoted by the letter m, which is given by y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1, right? So if the two lines have the same slope, let us find the slope of line AB. AB is parallel to this line, that is CD here, right? So y2 minus y1, that is 4 minus 1. For line AB, the slope is 4 minus 1 upon x2 minus x1, that is 3 minus 1, that is nothing but 3 over 2, right? Now if I want the slope of line CD also as 3 by 2, so if I have a 8 here as the y coordinate, so 8 minus something should give me the numerator as 3. I want the same numerator. So what should I put here so that I have the result as 3? Can I say I should plug in here nothing but 5, right? If I plug in here 5, then I'll get the numerator as 3. Similarly, in the denominator it is minus 2 here. So if I have minus 2 in the denominator and minus 2 minus something should give me the denominator as 2. So what should I plug in here so that I get a result as 2? Can I say that if I put minus 4 here, I'll get my result as 2? Why? Because minus 2 minus of minus 4 is plus 4, which gives me the result as 2. So I'm getting the same slope if I'm taking y as 5 and x as minus 4. So the coordinate of this point is minus 4 comma 5, isn't it? So that is another approach to reach to the same answer. Alright, why not have a look at one more approach? Let's understand one more approach. Let me get rid of this. So when I talk about parallelograms, we know that another property that is a very important property of a parallelogram is not just opposite sides are parallel, they are also equal as well, isn't it? We know that the opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. So what I'm saying here is opposite sides are equal. That means their length is going to be same. Now how do we find the distance between 2 points? Let's understand that first. So if I have 2 points x1 comma y1 and x2 comma y2, then the distance between the 2 points, let's say A and B, is given by under root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So if I look at the distance of line AB, what is the distance of line AB here? It is going to be 4 minus 1 whole square plus x2 minus x1, that is 3 minus 1 whole square. This comes out to be nothing but under root of 9 plus 2 square is 4, that is root 13. So can I say that the line CD should also be equal to root 13? So if I want the line CD to be root 13, obviously I'm not aware that the point is minus 4 comma 5. So let us take this as P comma Q. So x2 minus x1, that is under root of minus 2 minus P whole square, right, plus y2 minus y1, that is 8 minus Q whole square, and I want this result to be equal to root of 13. So what should be the value that I should take for P and Q so that my result is nothing but 13, right? So if I take P as minus 4 here, right, you can always solve, but you can always make a calculated guess. If I take P as minus 4, then I'll get minus 2 plus 4, right, when the bracket opens, isn't it? So minus 2 plus 4 is going to give me a plus 2 whole square, and if I take Q as 5 here, right, so what I'm getting 8 minus 5, that is 3 whole square, and if I add these two, what I'm going to get is 4 plus 9, that is root of 13. So the value of P should be minus 4 and the value of Q should be minus 5. So these are the three different ways in which we could have tackled this particular question. And what I would have done in exam is 1 minus 2 is how much? Can I say minus 1? 1 plus 8 is how much? 9. How much should I add in 3 to make it minus 1? X coordinate sum was minus 1, right? What should I have added in 3 to make it minus 1? Can I say minus 4? What should I have added in 4 to make it 9? Because the y coordinate was 9. Can I say 5? So my answer is minus 4, 5. This is how I would have solved this question, right? Now I leave it to you guys. Why is this working? Whatever I've done in red here, you guys are going to tell me in the comment section below that why is this method working? What have I used here? Alright. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for further videos for the all the CAT questions that have come. I'll be giving detailed solutions, and along with that I'll be teaching you concepts as well. Whatever concept is being used, I'll teach you that as well in these videos. So please like, share and subscribe the video. Thank you.